Yeah, this is Stanley Jordan, and you're listening to 89 FM. This is the Radio Rock.
So, we were coming to São Paulo for the first edition of the Town Festival. How are your expectations?
I know this is going to be a great festival, and I'm really honored to be a part of the very first edition of it. I can see that they're doing everything they can do to make it an amazing experience, so I know that the people are going to love it. And I can tell you, behind the scenes, they are taking exquisite care of all of us performers. Like every little detail, they're going over it to make sure that everything is right for us. So it's going to make it really easy for us. And I think that the performers are going to do some of their best performances because of that.
That's amazing. And you have been to Brazil sometimes that I saw. How was the experience of being here?
The experience is always wonderful. You know, I've been going to Brazil almost every year since 1985. And I would say next to United States, it's the country where I've played the most. I've probably done 600 or 700 shows there through the years, and it's always great. You know, I feel a really strong connection to the people there for a lot of reasons. One is that I feel like the way that people listen to music, the way they appreciate music in Brazil, is very much the same as me. It's like I don't exactly know how to explain it, but it's like listening with your whole mind and your body and your heart. It's like every chakra is open. It's like listening on every level at the same time. So like, for example, there's a lot of like really intense, powerful, passionate rhythms in Brazilian music, and then you hear the romantic heart, the love, and then you hear like the interesting harmonies, like the jazz influences and the classical influences and the harmonies. It's like every level, and that's what I'm trying to do with my music, is to hit every level. So I feel like in Brazil there's like the perfect audience for the kind of music that I make.
This is beautiful. And has some show that was more special for you, or that you remember the most, like had something that was different?
You know, one of the most memorable shows of all was the first time that I played in Brazil, because it was 1985 and I played at the Free Jazz Festival. I played for 4 days, and I noticed that outside of the venue there were just a lot of people begging. I saw a lot of poverty, and I was asking about that, and people said, oh yeah, a lot of these people here will never be able to see a concert like yours because they can't afford the ticket price. So I said, let's do a free concert. So after we finished with the festival, I did a free outdoor concert in a park in Rio. And I got a wonderful gift because there were 15,000 people there who came to see me. It was the largest crowd that had ever come just to see me play. And that was so memorable for me, and I could be anywhere in the world today, and somebody will walk up to me who was there at that concert, and they'll say, I saw you in Catatumba, you know. So I just feel like it was like a union of souls that happened that day. And so much of my stuff in Brazil has come from that, because I feel like that was the moment that I really made the biggest connection with people there. That's when it began.
Yes, and talking about Brazil, you have been so many times. I think, do you know some Brazilian artists or no?
Yes, and I'm so honored because some of my favorite Brazilian artists have become collaborators. So on my next album that's coming out in a few months, the album's called Feather in the Wind, and we have Milton Nascimento on the album. Also, Dudu Lima, wonderful bassist. We've played together for like 20 years. And also our drummer, Ivan Conchi Mamon. We miss him so much, but he was also a collaborator for 20 years. And on the next album, after Feather in the Wind, we're still working on that one. And we have Georgie Benjor on that album as well. So those are a few of the artists that I can mention. So many. I think that part of the reason why Brazilian music is loved so much around the world is it's similar to music in the USA in the sense that you had a lot of different cultures all mixed together, and from that mix creative music was made, and the world loves it for a similar reason. But I actually think that in Brazil, I think that the cultures mixed even more. And so this is why for me it's like sort of a deeper version of what I like about my own country's music. I find that in Brazil too, but maybe even another level of it.
Yes, and can we expect some of these artists in your show on the town?
So Dudu Lima will be playing bass, and since we lost Mamal this year, we have another drummer who has worked with Dudu for many years. Leandro Skirl Brandão is going to be playing with us, and he's also we've done a lot of shows together here and there, so there's already a history with us, and he is also just a wonderful musician. So yeah, so my band is going to be Brazilian musicians, people I've played with for a long time.
That's amazing. I saw that you play with big names of jazz like B.B. King. How was the most important collaboration for you in your whole career?
Wow. Well, so I did get to know B.B. King through the years. We never actually got to play together, but he was supposed to play on my Feather in the Wind album, but it wasn't meant to be, I suppose. But some other artists who I did have a chance to collaborate with, so many memorable experiences I can mention. Dizzy Gillespie was one. Miles Davis was one. So with Miles, I took part in this project during the days of apartheid in South Africa. We did an album that was organized by little Steven Van Zandt. It was basically a protest album about the oppressive government, and a lot of people played on it. Miles Davis was on it. Herbie Hancock was also on that album. Mostly rock people and some jazz people too. And so those were big memories as well. One other musician that I'll mention was Benny Carter. And Benny Carter was really important because he spanned such a wide range of the history of jazz. He went all the way back to the generation of Louis Armstrong, and he was a collaborator of Louis Armstrong. But he had a very modern style, and even was the musical director for some rock artists. And I got a chance to play with him as well, and that was a wonderful experience.
That's amazing. And before we finish, can you tell me what are your next plans?
So right now I'm doing a lot of touring. COVID was kind of a difficult period, I think, for most people, but in some ways it was a good period for me and for a lot of musicians I know, because we got a chance to stay home for a while and work on our music. So for me, I definitely experienced some growth in my music, and coming off of that growth, I'm now doing a lot of touring again. So I've been very, very busy touring, and I want to keep that up. But even there's more stuff that's under development that I'm looking forward to doing. I've got some electronic music I'm working on. Some of it is electronic dance music. I'm also working on a composition for a symphony orchestra. It's a concerto for guitar and orchestra. So these are some long-term projects that are going to be coming up within the next year or two.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed talking with you too.
89, a Rádio Rock.